You know, we spend about a third of our entire lives asleep. A third. But how much do we really know about what's going on during that time? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most mysterious and honestly, most essential parts of our lives, sleep.
So, what really happens when you close your eyes? Let's dive right in, because the answer is pretty incredible. It's not just like flicking an off switch for your brain. No way. It's actually this super active, really complex process that is absolutely crucial for, well, for everything your mind and body do.
The best way to think about it is like a secret nightly journey. Your brain isn't just powering down for maintenance. It's actually embarking on this really structured voyage, traveling through different landscapes, or stages, and each one has a very specific job to do. So let's go ahead and map out that trip.
Okay, so this whole journey is broken down into 4 main stages. And get this, you actually cycle through them over and over again every single night. Understanding what's happening in each one, that's the real key to unlocking the power of a great night's sleep.
All right, first stop, stage 1. Think of this as the front porch's sleep. You're just starting to drift off. You know that feeling. You're still kind of aware of what's going on around you, a car horn, someone calling your name. That's enough to jolt you right back awake. We don't spend a ton of time here. It's just the entry point. Okay, from there, we move into stage 2, and this is a big one. You'll spend about half your total sleep time right here. Your heart rate starts to slow down, your body temperature drops, and your brain gets busy. It starts firing off these little bursts of activity called sleep spindles, and these are so important. They're what help take the memories from your day and lock them in for the long term. Next, we're going deep. Stage 3 is the deepest part of your non-REM sleep. This is where the real physical restoration happens, all that heavy lifting for your body. Your brain is producing these slow, powerful delta waves. This is why it's so critical for growing kids and athletes. It's also why it's so hard to wake someone up from this stage. Interestingly, as we get older, we spend less and less time here, which helps explain why sleep can get lighter as we age.
And that brings us to the most famous stage of all, REM sleep, rapid eye movement. Now this is where things get really wild. It's a total paradox. On one hand, your brain is firing on all cylinders. It looks almost like you're wide awake. But at the exact same time, your body is essentially paralyzed. It's a state called atonia. And there's a really good reason for it. It's nature's built-in safety switch to stop you from literally acting out your dreams. Pretty smart, huh?
So this leads to a really common myth. People hear active brain and think, oh, REM must be a light stage of sleep. But that's just not true. The fact is, with that high brain activity happening while your muscles are completely offline, REM is actually a very deep and incredibly important stage of sleep.
So if you put it all together, what does a typical 8-hour journey look like? Well, here's a rough breakdown. As you can see, you spend the biggest chunk of your night, about 50% in that memory consolidating stage 2. Then you've got about a quarter of your time in that wild dream-filled REM sleep, with the rest split between deep stage 3 and that light entry stage.
But, you know, this journey doesn't always go according to plan. For millions of people, the trip gets interrupted. The path gets blocked by some pretty serious roadblocks, what we call sleep disorders.
And the most well-known roadblock, of course, is insomnia. That awful, frustrating feeling of not being able to fall asleep or waking up in the middle of the night and just staring at the ceiling. And the causes can be all over the map. Stress, anxiety, that late afternoon coffee, even certain medications.
Then you have sleep apnea, which is a totally different beast. It's more of a mechanical problem. Basically, the muscles in your throat relax a little too much. Your tongue can fall back and literally block your airway. This causes you to stop breathing for moments at a time, often leading to really loud snoring or a sudden gasp for air as your body panics.
Another major roadblock is narcolepsy. Now this one's a neurological issue. The brain's wiring for controlling sleep and wakefulness is just off. There are actually 2 main types, and the big difference between them boils down to one very specific and pretty shocking symptom called cataplexy.
So what is cataplexy? It's a sudden, total loss of muscle control. And what's wild is that it's often triggered by strong emotions, especially things like laughter or excitement. It's all linked to low levels of a hormone called hypocretin. So just imagine this. For someone with type 1 narcolepsy, a really good hard laugh could literally cause their entire body to go limp.
And finally, there's a whole category of things called parasomnias. That's just a big word for unusual behaviors during sleep. Things like sleepwalking, sleep talking, or night terrors. And if you ever come across someone sleepwalking, here's some really important advice. Don't shake them awake. It can be really disorienting and even scary for them. The best thing you can do is just gently and calmly guide them back to bed.
Okay, so we've seen the map of the journey, and we've talked about the major roadblocks. So the big question is, what can you actually do about it? Well, let's open up the toolkit and look at some of the ways to get your sleep back on track.
And what you'll see right away is that there's no single magic bullet. The right tool really depends on the specific roadblock. For insomnia, a big part of the solution is therapy and building good habits. For sleep apnea, it's often about a physical device. And for narcolepsy, it's a combination of lifestyle management, like scheduled naps, and specific medications.
Let's zoom in on sleep apnea for a second. The gold standard for treatment is something called a CPAP machine. It stands for Continuous Positive Airway Pressure, which is just a fancy way of saying it gently pushes air into your airway to keep it open while you sleep. You can think of it like an air splint. It physically prevents your throat from collapsing, which stops those dangerous pauses in breathing.
But here is the really good news. There are some tools in the toolkit that are pretty much universal. They work for almost everyone. It's called sleep hygiene, which I know sounds a little weird, but it's really just about building good, healthy sleep habits. Things like going to bed and waking up around the same time, limiting caffeine, and, this is a big one, putting away the screens before bed. These simple things can make a huge difference for anyone's quality of sleep.
So, we've mapped out the journey, we've looked at the roadblocks, we've even opened the toolkit. But why? What's the whole point? What's the final destination of this nightly journey, and why does it matter so much? Well, the destination is simply a better you. A successful journey through the night isn't just about not feeling tired, it's so much more than that. It's about arriving at the next day with your mind sharp, your memories locked in, and your body physically restored and ready to go. It's about functioning at your absolute best.
Look, by understanding this secret nightly journey, you get the power to actually listen to your body. How you feel when you wake up, that's not random. It's a direct message about how your trip went the night before. So I'll leave you with this question. What is your sleep trying to tell you?